Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, Adam Brody, StartUp, back for season 3. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
What's happening? Tell me all about season 3.
Well, we found some success, and with some success comes some new threats. And I know for my character, because that's all I care about, I go on a much darker path in this season.
So what you're saying is mo money, mo problems.
Mo money, mo problems. I thought about it earlier, and I was like, I'm not going to say that, but I'm glad you did.
Transitioning from the OC, obviously this show, much more adult theme. Tell me about that transition. When you come off this iconic millennial generation show to this, walk me through that transition.
Well, there was a pretty big gap. I mean, I would say there was a good, it wasn't like I walked from one stage to the other. I had a good solid 8 years to adjust.
Everybody loved the OC. If they came to you and they said, Adam, let's get the gang back together, what are your thoughts?
I've thought about this actually, and I don't really understand. I mean, I don't think it would work creatively until we were old enough to be the parents, which we sort of are. But it was a high school more or less show, so I feel like at its core, I know there was parents and that was a big important part, but it didn't take place in the law offices of Sandy Cohen. It took place in high school, and so I feel like we would have to be parent. At its core, its root, it's a high school show, and even though there's a big family backbone to it, and I feel like we would have to be parents of teenagers before no one wants to follow us in our pushing 40, doing whatever we're doing in that tone. But anyways, what if there's enough money there? Sure.
They're writing the check you're in. Having a spouse in the business, does it make it easier? Because it's a tough business, man. Like you said, you can have this generational hit like the OC and never have anything happen after that. Luckily, you've had other things happen, but does it make it easier having a spouse in the business and going through the ups and downs of the acting world?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Absolutely. And someone to even just to someone to creatively collaborate with, even if whether it's on my stuff or her stuff or whatever, but we're always, helping each other and not just emotionally, but creatively. So yeah, it's great. It's good company, and to be able to talk about it with somebody who understands completely, and also it's a pretty big coincidence that you just happen to be on a big high school show as well, So we also have that in common, which we can relate to each other as ex-teeny boppers. Yeah.
That heartthrob status, like when you're going through just the thrux of that fame, that's got to be just crazy at that time as a kid.
I don't know. It was a different time. It was a long time ago, and it was also it wasn't pre-internet exactly, but it was definitely social media.
Right at the beginning.
So I know we were not under a microscope like people are today. I think it would be a vastly different experience going through that today. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But for me, it was lovely.
Streaming. You're on the streaming platform now. What do you think about the streaming world we're living in right now and being able to watch TV anywhere, anytime?
I think it's great. I think, it's a little overwhelming. I think everyone feels like, gosh, there's so many things you want to see you'll never be able to see. But on the flip side, it's nice because I think there are absolutely zero boundaries anymore. And I think there are, movie stars want to do television. And I also think it's kind of democratizing in that movie stars want to do television, but at the same time, just because they do television doesn't mean it's going to work. You're just as likely for it to be Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or something that really pops, that becomes the special thing with people that wouldn't be able to greenlight a movie when they started, And so I think it, in a weird way, levels the playing field a little bit. Maybe that's just my perspective, and maybe I'm totally out of touch. I don't know, but I do think it's it's also a little bit the Wild West, and nobody knows what's going to work and what's happening, but it's happening fast and it's exciting.